Hello, everyone. I can't believe we have made it halfway. Kudos to us. Just a reminder, my field placement is at the Barry Robinson Treatment Center for at-risk youth. I have noticed many of the children using racial slurs or derogatory comments to their therapists and staff. I know clients have a right to choose who they want to work with, but what happens when it's a child acting out because they are not getting their way? I have heard some terrible things coming from these children. Personally, I would not engage in a conversation about what is being said from an adult or a child. I feel there is no need for a power struggle to go on. When dealing with a child, I find it difficult because I feel they are repeating what they have heard and not necessarily what they believe. Most of these children say these things just to get a reaction from you. I read an article in our Everyday Life. If the child uses a racist term, it is important to deal with the behavior and any underlying causes quickly and effectively. By continuing to maintain an open dialogue with the child about race and discrimination, you can help prevent each you can help prevent such an incident from repeating itself while also instilling in him an attitude of respect. Make clear to your child that all forms of racism are unacceptable by responding immediately when the term is used. If any other peers or adults heard the term being used, make sure that they know that you do not tolerate racism. If your child directed the term at someone, be sure that he apologizes to the person, following up with the victim's parents if necessary to let them know that you handled the situation. Remove your child from the situation as quickly as possible so that you can discuss the attitude behind his comment privately. The article states that you will be more likely to encourage your child to reevaluate his views if you ask thoughtful questions that encourage dialogue. Ask him where he heard the racist term and why he thinks it's all right to use it. This will give you an opportunity to discover whether your child simply did not understand the negativities associated with the term or if there is an underlying attitude about race behind a comment that needs to be addressed. According to the leadership conference, the experiences children have in childhood shape their attitudes as adults. Do not avoid the subject of race because your child will be exposed to images and ideas that you may not be aware of at school and in the media. Instead, be an active part of shaping your child's views, talking freely with your child about race and ethnicity, answering his questions, and openly discussing the similarities and differences among people with him. Teach your child to recognize and speak out against discrimination when he encounters it. Be aware of your own attitudes about race, being careful to model for your child inclusive behavior and respectful language when it comes to people of other races. Part of encouraging your child to reach across racial and ethnic lines and shaping healthy attitudes about race is to provide opportunities for him or to be around diversity. Surround yourself with friends from a variety of cultures and backgrounds and provide role models for your child from different ethnic groups. Read books, purchase toys, and hang art that depicts people from a variety of races. I feel this dialogue may be a good may be good to discuss with the child who has calmed down, but trying to ask a child why he feels it's okay to be disrespectful will encourage the child to attack even more. Communities often have conflicting child rearing values. For example, some parents believe that children should be physically punished for bad language, while others may refuse to use physical punishment in any situation. Parents often expect teachers to use same discipline techniques used at home. Some parents teach their children to defend themselves from bullies by fighting or cursing. All of these issues complicate the problems of young children using bad language and the range of solutions that the early childhood professional can use to solve bad language problems. The term cursing and dirty language are used broadly to refer to several categories of offensive speech. Cursing in public settings has been increasing in America, including in child care settings. Similar styles of clothing, language styles range from formal to relaxed. Most educational settings strive for conventional or formal speech from children. Because many parents and families get along quite well with more relaxed codes, it is possible that the child care setting is the only place where some children hear conventional language spoken. Because some curse words are more problematic than others, it is necessary to sort language into three categories: acceptable, unacceptable, and inappropriate. Acceptable language is what we read in magazines or hear in the news broadcast. It is a formal and conventional level of speech that we hope young children will eventually learn and use. Unacceptable language is that which must be forbidden for legal reasons. Unacceptable language includes harassment, libel, threats, gender and racial discrimination, and obscenities. Inappropriate language is the gray area between acceptable and unacceptable language. It is language that depends heavily on context because different contexts pose different standards of restrictions in language on language and behavior. What constitutes appropriate speech on the playground may not be appropriate within the classroom. Unacceptable but normal behavior. Early childhood professionals and parents should anticipate children's dirty language. Most normal children will experiment with dirty words and dirty jokes in the course of growing up. They will also repeat powerful or offensive words that they hear adults use. Children may even make up unique words to use as insults. As young children grow, they become more aware of social and psychological aspects of human interaction, and their name calling will show their new awareness when you hear them use words such as weirdo, retard, spaz, fatty, jerk, and chicken. Some school age children learn inappropriateness when they are intellectually able to appreciate the impact of language on listeners and can emphasize with them. Egocentric young children do not fully comprehend why words are offensive to listeners, but can be trained not to use offensive words. One might simply tell a 2 or 3-year-old not to use words without much explanation. 5-year-olds, on the other hand, can be given an explanation for language restrictions. The 8-year-old is capable of empathy and is able to use the words can hurt others' feelings. Why children curse? Do you know why children curse? The first question to ask a child who has cursed is, why did you say that? In other words, determine what has caused has caused it. determine what has caused the incident in the first place. Is the child seeking attention, bullying another child, or expressing anger? Why the child provoked another child, or was the cursing more spontaneous? You also have to distinguish children who have problems with language from children who have emotional problems with anger or aggression. Children who use cursing as a general way to express anger. Many adults have trouble with the bad language from time to time. Unfortunately, some parents have difficulty controlling their children's inappropriate language. Hearing racist, sexist, or offensive language may be a common experience for some young children. Although you cannot completely overcome narrow mindedness at home, you do have the right and responsibility to suppress such language at your center. So the question, well, most of the children, majority of the children that's cursing at the facility is because of the anger problems or aggression. The question that I have this week is, how do you react to a client using racial slurs or derogatory comments towards you as a person? Thank you.